Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here back with round 19 of season 2 of the F1 2021 Williams Road to Glory. Yes, today we're here back at the Mexican Grand Prix. Of course, at the time of recording this, I am now in Imola. You know, if you're here at the weekend, let me know down in the comments below. We can try and get something sorted. But of course, yeah, all the content that has gone up over the last couple of days has been sort of pre-recorded and set out. But a massive, massive thank you to all of you guys for the continued support. At the time of recording, we're nearly now at 44,000 subscribers as well. So, you know, if you're not already, please do leave a like and get yourself subscribed. I'm going to try and have a Grand Prix challenge video go live tomorrow. And then Sunday there won't be a video, but we should be back on Monday with the daily content as well. Obviously, I'm going to let you guys enjoy the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix there. But, of course, if you missed out on the last episode from this series at COTA, definitely recommend going back and checking out. We saw a huge change at the top of the running order. Championship-wise, Max Verstappen has all but settled it now, right at the very front there. He's now got a 61-point lead with just 4 races to go over Lewis Hamilton there. So an absolutely staggering gap to have pulled out in just a couple of race weekends there. And Red Bull as well have taken now the gap down to 8 points in the Constructors' Championship as well. So that is all to play for in the final few races of the year. It really does seem like pretty much, I mean, Red Bull and Mercedes, there's a big battle there. Ferrari and McLaren, there's a big battle there. And we're just 5 points behind AlphaTauri as well. So there is a lot to play for at this late stage of the game. We're still trying to jump Gasly and Charles Leclerc in the Drivers' Championship as well. But AlphaTauri have been looking pretty good over the last few race weekends. There you can see performance-wise, though, we've still got a couple more upgrades in the works, which should bring us even closer to McLaren there, and hopefully a bit further ahead of Aston Martin and Alpine. But Mexico has often been a track that's delivered insanity on F1 2021. Maybe today will be the same. Let's get into it then here in Mexico.
Okay, I need your attention. The tech regulations are changing. There's a risk some of our hard work will be undone, so we need to mitigate it. As soon as you can, I want you to look at the developments we have and tell us what areas you want to invest in protecting.
Right, so there we go then. Rule changes have been confirmed for Season 3. And what are they going to be? It's powertrain and durability then, so not major to be honest. I think the powertrain will try and get as many of those sorted as we can. However, the durability I'm really not going to lose too much sleep over. So we've got how many? 11 parts at risk. So we're going to need to really try and rack up some R&D points here to hopefully leapfrog us right up towards the front there. Like I said, durability I'm not really going to worry about all too much though. Having a look at the components, though, I think we should be able to get through this weekend, although we might need a new control electronics. Oh, no, we'll put on an old one then. So we're going to have a couple of sort of engine component changes as well there. But yeah, let's get into qualifying then here from Mexico. Formula 1 is finally back in 2022, and now you can rep your favourite teams. Of course, using the F1 store, every team now has merch lineups available, whether you're an Aston Martin fan, a Williams fan, Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, the choice is completely up to you. But yeah, check out the F1 merch store down below for all the official releases from all of the teams. And of course, as always, if you use our links as well, you massively help support the channel. So yeah, give it a look and see if there's anything you like.
So make the most of your stay around the raceway camp.
Right, well here we are then, qualifying day from Mexico City. Always love coming back to this circuit. It's a really odd one for me. I never really used to like it on some of the older F1 games. They're sort of F1 2016-17, but probably F1 2020 in this one, I've really actually started to love this circuit as well. It was always just the final sector for me. I could never stand just that hairpin. That hairpin in the stadium was for a very, very long time the bane of my existence. But anyway, let's try and see what our first lap is then in qualifying. Practice went pretty well in the end. There are a couple of purple scores. But yeah, qualifying around here, the AI seem to be able to find just that little bit extra, especially, like I said, through the final sector. I don't strongly hate it anymore, but it's certainly not my favourite part of the lap still. And speaking of then, let's see how we get on in our first run through the final sector. Then really trying to open up the track as best as possible. It's just, trying to get the front end turned into here, and then the back end trying to keep it in line over the penultimate corner curb. But round in the final corner we go. Just trying to put the power down nice and tidy. It's a 114. It really leaves us 6 tenths behind Ricciardo there, and quicker than George. we're about where we should be then, as Mercedes is going to go much faster. Right, heading out of the final corner then to start our second run, and unfortunately we actually had a fault with the car, so I spent a little bit extra in time in the pit lane than I really wanted. However, does mean now, if this lap isn't much of an improvement, we're going to have to peel back into the pit lane and try and set ourselves up for one final last-ditch attempt. There was definitely a few tenths in the first half of the lap though, but yeah, if we make any sort of mistakes, I'm going to bail out. And we'll go for another run there. It's just trying to keep it clean and tidy through the first couple of corners there. See, no theatrics. And immediately we're quarter of a second up. 2 laps of fuel left in the car as well. Braking just for the 100-meter board. Trying to avoid locking up everything like that. It's just finding little bits of time as the lap unfolds. That was nice through there, but ran a little bit wide on the exit. Now we just got to concentrate through the S's. Ooh, took a bit too much curb. Please don't hit anything. Oh, we just nicked the wing. That should be alright though. Never have binned it there. I've binned it through this next corner, rather famously on the channel, but I haven't upset the car over that curb before. So I guess we're going to have to try and peel back into the pit lane then, get a new front wing on, and get back out here. Right, we're getting ready then for our final lap here of qualifying. Try not to get in the way of the Mercs, but we do need to try and get on this final lap. We've only got a few seconds left on the clock then. Longest run back up towards the line, and are we going to be able to find any more time there? We're currently only sat in P13. So we're going to need to try and find a little bit more there. Just a couple more tenths could put us ahead of the likes of Yuki Tsunoda, ready for the start of this race there. But now, of course, it's just a question of whether Hamilton will get out of the way. Through someone there a little bit deep through the first part and taking way too much curb through the second. But actually, again, finding the time off the corner there. It's just through these next couple of turns and then into the S's that we really, really need to concentrate as we try and get the nose turned in. Having to use a lot of engine brake though around this track at the moment. Not really too sure why. Just feel that's the only way we can get the car working in the way I want it. And we are still up though by about the same margin we were last time round as we head now through the S's. Don't want to risk too much through here, as this so far has been a pretty tidy lap. But you can see everyone else is improving. We're all the way down to P16. You try and nail this final sector of the lap. Oh, we're running a little bit wide there over the curbing. And then a little bit deep as well in towards the hairpin. Come on, don't let this lap completely fall apart the final couple of turns. Round in the final corner. Gets close to the wall as I dare. On the exit, we are going to improve. And it's only P15. Not quite what I wanted there. We're about on the pace. But there was definitely a few more tenths on the table. Well, there we go then. Max Verstappen on pole around a track that he's loved in the past in Formula 1 there. Bottas P2 ahead of Perez and Leclerc. Hamilton down in P6 though. That is not what he needed in this very, very slim championship battle. But look at that. Yuki Tsunoda in 10th. Down to Kimi Raikkonen in 16th, separated by just a 10th there. Had we found another 7/100ths of a second, we could have easily been up in the top 10 there. That is heartbreaking looking at those gaps, but nothing between Alpine, Williams and Aston Martin there. Every car super even in qualifying. How will we fare in the race though? Let's get into it here from Mexico. This channel is proudly sponsored by Bybit, the official crypto partner of Red Bull's Formula 1 team. I've been using their platform for my personal crypto savings over the last few months, and when they got in touch to support the channel, I was super, super excited. Currently, they're offering you guys a special new promo for the first 100 of you to deposit $10 or more onto the platform. You'll get another $10 free. Also, 5 lucky winners will get their initial deposit doubled up to $1,000. That means if you deposited $1,000 onto the platform using my codes below, you could be within a chance to get another $1,000 completely free. We've seen the landscape around crypto drastically change over the last couple of years, and I genuinely believe it holds an important place in our future. However, please be careful as always when trading, as you are liable to lose money. But if you're interested and you're 18 or older, click the link down below to get started and see why Red Bull and myself, as well as thousands of others, trust Bybit as their crypto.
Here we go then, it's time to race in Mexico City, a place which gave Honda their first ever victory back in 1965. American Richie Ginther won from third on the grid. And what are the Honda-powered cars this year? Well, Red Bull have been going strong here in recent seasons, so can they keep that record going today? At 2,285 metres above sea level, the thin air of the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez poses a unique challenge, not just to a driver's skill, but to the efficiency of their engines as well. 17 corners make up a lap of this 2.6-mile circuit, and you can expect incredible speeds in excess of 220 miles per hour, and overtaking too into the hard braking zones of turns 1 and turn 4. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, edging out Sergio Perez, who lines up P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Leclerc, Sainz, Lewis Hamilton and Norris, Gasly, Tsunoda, Russell and Max Verstappen. Ricciardo, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Vettel, Mr. Monaco and Raikkonen, Giovinazzi, Mazepin, Nicholas Latifi and Lance Stroll. They've taken a grid penalty. Ocon and Mick Schumacher. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Right, well here we are then on the grid, ready for the Mexican Grand Prix here, and really looking forward to jumping into this one. Changeable conditions though are going to make things very spicy today. There's meant to be quite a big storm coming in later on in the afternoon. However, strategy, I do not want to use a set of hard compound tyres around this circuit. It does not work. I cannot stand them. So we're going to try and do a medium double soft stint then to try and see us through to the checkered flag. That does, of course, then also mean, you know, whether we start to get a bit of rain towards the end, fingers crossed, obviously, then we may as well just use the other strategy. It's recommended. But yeah, that also then means, you know, later on in the afternoon, we've got a bit of flexibility with tyres as well if we need to. But quite a few grid penalties means we're up to P13 for the start here, and there's going to be a couple of faster cars behind us. Verstappen right in the mix as well. Things could get spicy. But let's dive in then here to round 19 of the year from Mexico. Waiting on those 5 red lights. And it's going to be lights out, and away we go. Never expecting to get the best start in the world on a set of harder compound tyres there, as we're just going to see everyone in front of us try and jockey for position down towards someone there. Mazepin on my outside, Giovinazzi trying to look around the outside in towards the first corner. They're 3 wide just in front of us is Kimi Raikkonen trying to make a move on Sebastian Vettel. Seb's in a sandwich of his old teammates through turn 1 and turn 2 there, but he actually comes out on top there as Mazepin gets the power down a little bit better than I was able to. We're going to try and look back around the outside. No, nothing going to happen there on the way into the corner, but that's not going to stop us on the way out. So we slot back up the inside of the Russian driver, Ricciardo, getting hung out to dry. Was not confident though we get any room on the inside there, as Mazepin can't put the power down around the outside of us, so not the most chaotic start then in the world. We only lost the place to Kimi Raikkonen, which isn't the worst start when you think, of course, we're on the harder tyres. There is all Ricciardo. Gets a big wobble out of the middle sector. Max Verstappen already trying to make moves though further up the road. I think that was on Esteban Ocon, perhaps. No, it is Yuki Tsunoda. And Tsunoda coming back at him on the exit of the corner there. Oh, big wobble there out in the final corner. Sergio Perez, though, leads at the end of lap 1. Looks like Verstappen has left Tsunoda, perhaps with a slightly wounded car at the moment, because George Russell is trying to apply pressure to the Alpine. I mean, look at this Constantino and up behind him, as Perez is trying to build up a gap at the front of the running. But yes, Tsunoda, though, still just trying to hang on. And there we go. It looks like the young Japanese driver did have damage. So he's going to peel into the pit lane. That's going to mean we're under P12.
We can use DRS when you are within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
But we are getting absolutely hounded by these Alfa Romeos. They're Giovinazzi this time round, going to try and look up the inside and towards turn 1. As Russell under pressure from Sebastian Vettel. We squeeze Gio out a fair amount there. As is Russell going to be able to hang on? He gets a bit of a wobble on the exit. And now I think that's some debris coming off Sebastian Vettel's car. So it's all kicking off early on then in this Grand Prix. Where is Seb going to go here? I want to try and pick somewhere different. Let's look at that round the outside of 1. Make that 2 cars through in towards the middle sector there. As I'm just trying to work out what Seb's going to be doing. And we'll say thank you very much. We'll have all 3. I'm into P9 now of the Mexican Grand Prix there. Now behind our teammate George Russell, so both cars into the top 10 there as we just run a little bit wide through the next corner. But Seb's now going to hold all of these guys up behind us, so we're going to get a bit of breathing room here early on. And really now, with the exception of Gasly, we're probably where this car should be at the moment, but just got to settle down, keep it clean, keep it tidy, and maybe apply some pressure to our teammate. But we are on harder tyres, as Kimi's now made the move on Seb, but it is all chaos early on. So yeah, George Russell starting to pull away though as we start lap 5, and Kimi Raikkonen and Daniel Ricciardo, as you'd expect, starting to close back in that gap a little bit more. Going to be a tough start to the race, but of course it should all come back to us later on. Depends when the weather arrives. I guess this is the other good thing about starting on the mediums here in Mexico. Of course, on full fuel, and of course early on in the Grand Prix, where you have to try and duck and dive and dodge other cars, the soft tyres tend to burn out incredibly quickly. Of course, this race has been a bit weird and kind of fanned out much earlier than you'd normally expect. You can see already we've got both Mercs in. Why are both Mercs pit at the same time? Oh,
Into P7.
Mercedes making no sense in this game there. So Bottas has just been completely screwed royally, unless they've had like a double puncture or something. But yeah, it does also mean though, like I said, everyone else burns through those soft tyres really early on there and doesn't really get the full effect from them. Because I mean, already lap 8, the gap to Russell again is already starting to go the right way. Kimi Raikkonen and Ricciardo are still closing in a bit, but we're keeping them at sort of arm's length. Team adamant they want us going on to hard tyres. I refuse to use them around this track. It doesn't work. And I just get annoyed. Hamilton now goes fastest in this race. Going to be interesting to see how much he can close up that gap to Perez, but I also do wonder what strategy are Mercedes trying to pull off today. I think we're going to start seeing a few more cars into the pits at the end of this lap. But of course, yeah, George and I, starting on that slightly fresher compound of tyres, we could have a 1-2 here, albeit briefly. Bit like Singapore. And there we go. Max Verstappen and Pierre Gasly into the pits then at the end of that lap.
Our in front is 3.3 seconds.
And we now finally get back inside the DRS range of our teammate George Russell. We need to work together today. We've still got to try and close down the championship gap to AlphaTauri there, because Pierre Gasly has just been a thorn in our side all season long. But yeah, if Russell can start scoring more good consistent points, that would be super handy. Don't think that we're quite going to get close enough to our teammate this time round. We are gaining on George Russell. Ooh, trying to look around the outside, perhaps. No! In a word, Russell was always going to slam the door.
We think we may see some rain. ETA is about 15 minutes.
And now the team is talking about the rain as well, so that's not going to be far away. It's just that huge amount of understeer through the middle sector. Yeah, rain, I mean, 15 minutes is could mean it's right now, or it could mean it's not for another hour on F1 2021. We know what Jeff is like, as we're going to see even more cars into the box at the end of lap 11. Are we going to see George follow him in, or is he going to try and stay out for one extra one? Yes, he is. So we are going to get a 1-2 then, and suddenly now Williams battling for the lead here in the Mexico Grand Prix. No, we're not. Perez is out ahead of us still. So we're not even going to get to battle for the lead then with our teammate George Russell. That's going to have to wait till next season, but down around the outside of our teammate we go. And now up into P2 of the GP. And of course we'll get the DRS again.
Some information on Russell. They have an issue with their car. They're going to be slow.
Really? Why has George Russell now got issues with the car there? Please, team, don't say it's anything catastrophic. And please also don't say we're going to end up with it. There we go, Russell finally into the pits then.
George in the pits.
As Pierre Gasly is somehow now battling with Carlos Sainz for position. Gasly could be on for a podium fight here. What on earth has Pierre done to suddenly leapfrog his way right up the order? I guess just Bottas and Verstappen being so far out of place at the moment probably isn't helping, as well as Charles Leclerc. Gasly, yeah, is giving AlphaTauri a big chance here. So we're going to box in probably the end of next lap. Right, heading through the S's then here on lap 15. Going to come into the pits at the end of this lap. It's kind of worked out quite well, to be honest, because I'm a bit worried we're going to trip over Hamilton if we stay out any longer. But yeah, Pierre Gasly has got some phenomenal pace in that AlphaTauri. I hate to think just how many times I've said that on F1 2021 on the whole, but always a surprise, the Frenchman in that car. As we head out the final corner then, make sure we get the thing slowed down nicely into the pits. There we go. So we are hopefully going to re-emerge ahead of Kimi Räikkönen in the second AlphaTauri. We should do, actually. Look at where George has come out. But yeah, at the moment, though, all still a bit weird and out of shape in this Grand Prix. But now we should have one of the fastest cars on the circuit. It's Kimi Räikkönen on a set of hard compound tyres. They're proving why those tyres don't work. George Russell's done the same.
We'll be doing one more stop today. One stop left in our strategy.
The only way I can see that working is if the rain does come and everyone else has to pit again just before it. That's the only way I can see that tyre strategy working out. However, now we've got a 5-second gap up to Ricciardo. This car not far pace behind the Australians, so we might be able to close this up.
Rain is forecast in just over 10 minutes time. Rain in 10 minutes.
There we go. Team is still calling the rain. It is slowly getting towards the circuit, but not yet. The Sainz into the pits at the end of the next lap there, as well as Lando Norris. As we've got yellow flags out as well. It's one of the Haas cars, I think, going slowly.
Somewhere on the ICE, be aware that we will start to see a loss of power.
Who was that pulling over to the wayside then? It's Mick Schumacher out of the second Grand Prix in a row there. Of course, both Haas cars went up simultaneously at COTA.
Teammate behind is 12.5 seconds.
And at the moment then, the gap to Ricciardo actually coming down at a rather rapid rate of knots as Bottas and Verstappen now duking it out further up the road. We could get close to the Australian before the wet period.
We've been informed of an incident which has resulted in lots of loose debris on the track. The safety car is being deployed. Drop your speed, our delta is too low and we risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately.
And Lewis Hamilton then out of the Mexican Grand Prix. What's happened to the Merc? Oh, so he must have looped it then off the exit of the S section there, because you can see that Mercedes off in the wall with a wheel ripped off, so an uncharacteristic error from Lewis Hamilton. Unfortunately, it won't let me rewind back and see what actually happened, but Hamilton out then in the Mexican Grand Prix, and that basically means Max Verstappen he won't be world champion this weekend, but he pretty much guarantees it in Brazil next time out. The only other question on my mind at the moment is what does this mean for strategy, to be honest? Hamilton making that mistake then kind of screws me, because a lot of the guys now are going to pit onto a set of medium tyres and make it to the end. I don't really want to do that. I think, to be honest, we're just going to have to try and claim track position here.
Okay, slow down, slow down. Your delta is negative, which means you are too fast. Reduce your pace.
As Perez, of course, still out on the venue as well. He's going to have to do another lap. But Perez, yeah, look at, Gasly, though. Up in P3 ahead of Verstappen and Bottas. That gap, of course, is going to come down now. But, yeah, we don't really want to pit yet and go to the end. We may as well try and claim track position and pray the rain arrives. Right, well, safety car in then at the end of lap 23. But the team is saying the rain isn't too far away either. It just looks like it's myself and Perez that have tried to hang out here. And, well, I mean, Perez could have pit anyway and probably still come out in the lead. I don't know why he didn't. But he's going to have a couple of lapped cars between myself and him as well. But the Mexican, is he going to be able to hang on to try and win his home Grand Prix here? That is the all-important question at the moment, as I'm sure Perez is going to try and bolt out of the final corner. They're going to have to be really, really careful on these tyres. As now we've got to try and take all the slipstream we possibly can from Mazepin and Latifi. As we've got Gasly and Verstappen both trying to close us down. Red Bull are going to get a 1-2 out of this, despite some grid penalties, which is kind of insane. Latifi backs out of it. What is Mazepin doing? Oh, I'm so sorry to the Russian, but you should have broke way earlier than that. Down towards the one, and we get a warning for a collision with Mazepin. I've got no idea what's happened to him. I think he's disappeared to the shadow around there, to be honest. But yeah, no idea why he didn't lift out in towards the first corner. But somehow, despite the sim damage, we make it through. And I would have probably had a lot more sympathy if it was anyone else on the grid. But now trying to fire up this set of soft compound tyres again. We're starting to build up a little bit of a gap as there's more yellow flags out. Yeah, it's Mazepin trying to get out of the way. Or Latifi even, it might have been trying to get out of the way of other cars. But Perez has just set sail into the distance again. He needs to try and build up a gap, or basically that, or do a rain dance, I suppose. So got more yellow flags out as we head through the final sector. I think Verstappen now has got damages. There we go, there's the rain. So it isn't going to be long then, as Checo's actually boxed into the pits. Could this now be a battle between myself and Pierre Gasly for the race victory here? We've got 5 seconds over Bottas. Both Red Bulls into the pits in one go there. So whenever Hamilton has issues, Verstappen seems to have the same. Of course, remember, At Singapore, Hamilton DNF'd and Verstappen could still only pick up a couple of points. Bottas now might be in the hot seat to really be Verstappen's main championship challenge in towards the final couple of races.
Let's be mindful of the conditions. The track is getting wetter. Recommend you stay out for now though. We'll be much slower if we move on to Inters this early.
Team don't want us to move over to Inters yet, but I definitely don't want to wait too long because these soft tyres, they've still got a fair amount of grip in them, but they are definitely gonna hit the cliff soon. We won't talk about that.
This lap, push hard on the in-lap. We're leading
Charles Leclerc now out of the Grand Prix.
13.9 seconds.
As team already recommending the intermediate tyres there, surely it's too early for that. As look at this Alpha Tauri, 2nd and 4th. It's a nightmare for us, but what a day it could be for the Faenza team. As look at that, more cars into the pit lane. Is it going to be early enough to box? Surely, track's not wet enough. Track is definitely getting wetter and wetter though as these laps unfold. Are we going to see Gasly into the pits? No, we're not. So we're going to have to wait for the DRS to get disabled, but that must only be a lap or two away.
The tyre situation is pretty touch and go right now. We think the slicks may still be quicker, but it's very close, and you're going to struggle to keep them in the temperature window. The Inters are ready when you need them. Check your MFD for a new strategy option.
There we go. Team now saying Inters, let's do it. We're going to box the end of this one as track, yeah, starting to resemble a bit of an ice rink. As you can see, a lot of other cars further down the order making the transfer, but FIA still have not disabled DRS. There we go, DRS now disabled, so with less than 9 laps to go then of this Grand Prix. Look at the understeer through the final sector, but it was absolutely the right call not to pit earlier on in the afternoon, but we are all over the show as we try and get the car into the pits.
DRS will be offline.
And we got another safety car. What's going on? Safety car redeployed again, and I think everyone's struggling that much in the conditions. I can't see another car out of the Grand Prix, but this has worked so well for the cars that haven't boxed then. Of course, everyone else is going to lose out track position. There's 2.3 seconds stop. We have to stay ahead of Pierre, but we're going to be in the lead in towards the final few laps.
Which has resulted in lots of loose debris on the track. The safety car is being deployed. Go, go, go.
Can't see who that is, but yeah, look at that. Everyone else now going to have to peel into the pit lane. So the likes of Kimi Raikkonen have got a bit unlucky there. And I want to say one of the Red Bulls, I think that's Perez, has been given a lifeline. So 6 laps to go then here from Mexico. And the safety car is going to be in at the end of this one. I've got my foot firm to the floor. And it is not letting me go anywhere at the moment. We're going to try and bolt as late as possible, to be honest, out of the final turn. I have absolutely zero confidence in myself to be able to get the power down out of the final corner, so we'll just slowly try and wind up the pace once more and get ready to go. Green flag racing here from Mexico. Not the best start in the world. In fact, no, we've actually been caught a little bit by Pierre Gasly there. As look at this, everyone behind us trying to get a run back down towards turn 1. They're both Alpha Towers looking racy still, but here comes Bottas as well in towards the first corner as there I skate straight off the road. We'll try and not gain anything on the rejoin. I think Pierre Gasly probably should have the race lead as Bottas going to go through as well. Try not to gain too much off that restart. As track, yeah, getting very, very wet, but we'll immediately try and go back on the offensive then. No, can't do anything against Bottas. Back down towards turn 1. It's just all over the show. This Williams around here does not like the wet, as we need to try and focus, regroup, and close back up to Pierre and Valtteri. Coming towards the end then of lap 32, and now this car's got its tyres heated up again. A bit like Singapore, this thing is fast when a track gets slippery. A bit like we saw from the real-life 2021 Williams as well. Of course, on a couple of occasions, you get some changeable conditions, and this thing in the right hands is a mighty fast race car here. But is Bottas going to be able to get a run on Pierre Gasly as we head back down towards turn 1 there? We're just gaining in on the pair of them at the moment. Bottas again, though, I don't think is going to go for a move in towards the first corner here, but this is still definitely a 3-way scrap for the victory, and who would have thought coming into it, it would have been Gasly, Bottas and myself, the 3 to battle for this win. Need to get a run out of the final couple of corners, though, on Bottas this time round as we try and hang close through the stadium section. Of course, with it being so wet, you don't even really feel the effects of dirty air anymore as Bottas tries to put the power down. We try and put the power down out of the final corner there using all of the curbing. You never even look at that curb normally on F1 2021, but now it's come in handy. As George Russell still stuck in the mid-pack, but Bottas doesn't seem to be able to get the run on Pierre back down towards Dem 1. Either doesn't seem to be getting the run or refuses to try and use it. And it just means that we can't quite get close enough to either of them. There's all just a little snag of oversteer that time round. That put pay to any chance this lap. But time is ticking. Less than 3 laps to go. 2 laps to go then, and we are still all over the back of Valtteri Bottas at the moment. But we can hang close. We just can't seem to make anything happen against either the Finn or the Frenchman in front of him. Bottas has no interest, seemingly, in trying to make a move work on Pierre Gasly. And for me, it's just frustration at the moment. We know how quick this car is, but it's just trying to find a position to make a move in the right place. We're super strong, though, through the final sector of the lap. We just got to keep making sure we hit our markers up to that point. They're really attacking the curbs that time round. And we get a nice run down in towards the final sector, but this is where we end up all over the gearbox of Bottas. So we're trying to put the power down again. But again, just can't seem to make anything happen here. Might try and go for a send somewhere where the Finn isn't expecting it, but just a little kick of oversteer here. 1 lap to go of the Mexican Grand Prix. And are we going to be able to find any opportunity, any run on the 2 in front of us? Is Pierre Gasly about to win his 2nd race for AlphaTauri as well? There it is, all still to play for on the final lap here. Kimi Räikkönen's got nothing in comparison to us 3 as we head back down towards Salmon. They're really trying to chuck it in and get closer to Bottas, but we need a mistake from the Finn there as well. Both of them wriggle their way out of the first couple of corners there, but we're nowhere near close enough this time around. Bottas, though, still can't find any way past Pierre Gasly either here as we just get back up towards the end of the straight. And I think at the moment it's looking like heartbreak for us, an absolute delight for AlphaTauri here, because this is basically going to mean they solidify P5 in the Constructors' Championship here as we try and get the car tidily through the middle sector. I think we're just going to try and bring it home for the 15 points now as we head in towards the final few corners of this Grand Prix there. We've won a race this year. Pierre Gasly in the AlphaTauri has been super rapid all season long there, and that's going to mean he's now battling it out with Carlos Sainz and I think Daniel Ricciardo in the championship. But as we head through, it's a Honda-powered car, but it isn't a Red Bull that's going to walk away with the race victory here in Mexico City. Pierre Gasly, once again, is a Formula 1 Grand Prix winner there. Bottas comes through for P2.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
It's a performance to be proud of from our Mexico City Grand Prix winners. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
Without a doubt, the safety car changed everything today. The key to their success was keeping calm and reacting to the situation quickly. We've seen teams in the past throw away wins because they were too hesitant, but here they were decisive, and that's allowed them to take the advantage.
As we await the winners to take their positions on the podium, one thing is clear. AlphaTauri have really shown their prowess on the track. This is a team that isn't afraid to take risks, whether that's on the circuit or in the new talent they hire. Today, those risks certainly paid off. That lead at the top of the table has shrunk somewhat today. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for driver of the day?
Lance Stroll certainly put in an impressive performance today. No doubt his team and fans are extremely proud.
Let's move on to the constructors. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Meanwhile, good work from Aston Martin this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula 1.
I cannot believe we've had so many dramatic finishes here from Mexico. That one was dramatic for all the wrong reasons there. Completely. I mean, I was lost for words there, as you could see. at the checkered flag there. What? What am I meant to do? No, I think, yeah, to quote Charles Leclerc, I am stupid at the end of the Grand Prix there. And a podium opportunity completely thrown away. Pierre Gasly comes home with the race victory, though, ahead of Valtteri Bottas and Kimi Raikkonen. So AlphaTauri get a double podium there. Kimi Raikkonen there. It means both AlphaTauris have won races this year. Who would have predicted that before the start of the season? Seb and Lance in 4th and 5th there, ahead of Sainz, Norris, Perez, and then we come through in a Red Bull sandwich there with Max Verstappen on a 5-stop strategy for the Red Bull Dutchman down in P10 there. He was joined by Daniel Ricciardo on another 5-stop, and I swear I saw George in the pits more than 3 times there. But you can see the rest of your finishes. Charles Leclerc, Hamilton and Mick Schumacher all not making it to the checkered flag. Championship-wise, though, it means that we still haven't crossed over 100 points, and if we could have been ahead of Daniel Ricciardo in the championship had I not completely fluffed that up late on in the afternoon. But yeah, look at that. Gasly now ahead of Sainz and Ricciardo. Bottas now the only real man that can stop Max Verstappen in the championship as well there. Vettel and Kimi both pull away from our teammate George Russell as well there, who gets relegated back into 14th, and Stroll making good progress ahead of Esteban Ocon there. Giovinazzi jumps Mick Schumacher on countback as well with that result there. And constructors-wise, AlphaTauri just wave goodbye to us in the constructors race there. To be honest, we got very, very lucky in Singapore to close up all those points, so they basically just brought themselves back to the advantage they probably ought to have deserved to have over the course of the year there. Mercedes still 20 points ahead of Red Bull, though, as we head in towards the final few races of the year. But thank you all so much for watching this video nonetheless. If you have enjoyed it, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed as well, and we'll be back very, very soon for round 20. We head back to Brazil. You guys do not want to miss it. None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below, and yeah, thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.